Thank you so much, Mr. Kashambuzi, for joining us on Straight Talk Africa.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me on your program. It's a pleasure to be here when we are celebrating independence anniversaries in Uganda and in other places. And I'm glad that I'm part of this program. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. Don't you think perhaps that this is the moment that we should actually thank all Ugandans for celebrating the Golden Jubilee?
Well, there are mixed reactions. Of course, there are those who feel that this is an occasion to celebrate, those that have made money, those that have seen their kids go to school and get jobs. But I think the majority of Ugandans don't feel the same. I must say that when Museveni became president, there was hope, and he came with a 10-point program, which was eventually extended 15-point program. But after 1 year, that program was dropped and replaced by a structural adjustment program that was supposed to increase agriculture, to increase economic growth. And through economic growth, the benefits will trickle to the people in all classes, in all regions. Unfortunately, that has not happened. When you look at the indicators, you find that over 50% of Ugandans still live below the poverty line. Over 80% of Ugandans' youth are unemployed. Over 10 million Ugandans go to bed hungry. When you look at the education, people have graduated, but they cannot find jobs. We have hospitals, we have schools, but people are not benefiting. Those hospitals are empty, there are no drugs, doctors have left, those who are behind are moonlighting. So the situation is really desperate. I sometimes wonder whether we should be celebrating or mourning what we have received. At the time of independence, we had good quality education. We had Makerere University, which was the Harvard of sub-Saharan Africa. We had a modern hospital, Mulago Hospital, which was a teaching and national referral hospital. All these things have now decayed. Environmentally, we are in bad shape. And the FAO has just issued a report recently that if we don't take drastic steps, Uganda is going to turn into a desert in less than 100 years.
Now,
so
Eric,
this is not...
Now, Eric, I can understand a litany of not good things, really. But what about some of the good things? I mean, surely, in the last 50 years, there must be some good things that Ugandans can be proud of.
Well, they will tell you that we now have mobile phones, that we have vehicles all over the place. But when even you look at those mobile phones, how many people are using them to make money? Mobile phones actually have turned into a consumer product rather than a producer product. I know people from my region who are spending less on food in order to buy airtime. So I don't know whether we can call that development. What people call development are these houses on the hills of Kampala, but who owns these houses and who is living in those houses? So when you look at the situation, you find that it's desperate. The president himself, when he presented the State of the Union address, he said that 68% of the Ugandans who are subsistence farmers had been neglected. And it's only this time that he's thinking of helping them. When you look at Uganda, you find that 70% of gross national income is generated in Kampala, and Kampala has less than 2 million people, which means that the 33 million people outside of Kampala are only generating 30% of gross national income. That is an acute inequitable distribution of income. And no country can be proud when you have got such a skewed income distribution with over 50% of the population below the poverty line. And some statistics suggest that 20% in the lowest income bracket have actually gotten worse rather than better.